All right, very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much and happy Thursday. I understand that this can be technically a busy period for everyone, but thank you so much for taking this time to join in. We have here Rachel, who's looking after the Malaysia market for Adelaide University. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to drop down in the Q&A box down below, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. All right, Rachel, over to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, all good. So welcome everyone. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I'm going to share a little bit about what Adelaide University offers, and then from there, we, uh, yeah, I will try to cover as much as I can. But again, if you have a program that you are really keen on finding out more, I will be here and happy to help you out. Okay, so probably just to give you a recap, right? Adelaide University, starting from 1st January 2026, that's when we merged two large universities. Both have strength on its own. University of South Australia, which is really strong in terms of industry partners and also hands-on learning, combined together with University of Adelaide, which is really strong in terms of research. It's part of the group of eight and so on. So with these two universities, what we now offer students is the best of both worlds. Whether the student wants to go into that research route, or they want to do a lot more hands-on learning, which is applying what they learn in theory into the working space. That's what we're offering students. They have that choice. And every one of our program, you would notice something called a work integrated learning. So work integrated learning basically means doing an internship. Why is it important? Is because students, we need them to know how to sort of, before they graduate, they already know what is the process like, applying for a job, going for that interview, actually securing something, being part of a team in a working space. So we want students to start thinking about which industries they are heading towards early on. And this work integrated learning will usually be done in their final year. Okay, so these are our ambitions as Australia's newest university. So we are proud to be a part of the group of eight, which is the top eight universities in Australia. And something that we really care about is about student experience and student employability. We want to make sure that all our students, whatever they are learning, it's going to be skill sets that are needed in the next 5 to 8 to 10 years, and it continues evolving. The way we structure our syllabus has also taken into account how the current students, the modern day students learn, meaning they don't want just like what we're doing now. So this is a very one-way kind of webinar, but what we want is that student has that sense of engagement. They're able to ask the tough questions. They're able to create something new, right? Collaborate. So going on to the next slide, it sort of shows you our ranking. So this very pretty picture here is Jacaranda season. If you have been to Australia or Adelaide specifically, this for tourists, it's very beautiful. The flowers are purple everywhere. It's really, a very nice scene. But for students, if they see the purple jacarandas and they haven't started studying, they are going to be really scared because this means exam season is near. Yep. So the building behind you, it's actually our Elder Conservatorium. It's the first music school in Australia. And it's a very beautiful lawn, this space, our signature space. Oftentimes, things like Illuminate Adelaide, where we have that lights and music exhibitions, it also happens on the campus itself. So this slide also talks a little bit about rankings. In terms of QS ranking, we are 82 globally. And then when we go in terms of our campuses, right, we are the largest campus footprints across South Australia. We have a total of 7 different campuses. Depending on what programs the student chooses to study, it has its designated campus, right? But all these campuses are mostly based in the heart of the city. Hence our name, the 20-minute city. Adelaide itself is known for being the 20-minute city because from the city center, if you are driving, nothing is more than 20 minutes away. And you can also see the airport is just 15 minutes away from the city center. So everything's really close by. It's really easy for students to get around the city, get around the campuses. It's also really strong in terms of community. Yep. Okay, so 7 campuses. We start off with the East Campus. So the East Campus is our signature North Terrace campus. It's also really near Rundle Mall, which is the lifestyle cafe hub. And that's where students usually have their, when they have a break, they will head over there. It's really bustling, right? You can see the library, it's open 24 hours. So students will also be able to use those, especially during exam season. And the good thing is that it's also a security setting where if the student is studying until late night and they need a security personnel to walk them back to their accommodation, they will be able to request that. So these are the things that it's really important to us in terms of taking care of our students, making sure students are thriving, their well-being, and also academically. Yep. Hub Central is where students get their access cards collected. If they have questions about enrollment, they have anything at all that they need help, even including accommodation, they can always hop over to Hub Central, and that's where they can get help from us, Adelaide, our student support services. There is also a lot of clubs and societies happening across the week in this Hub Central. Yep. So from East Campus to the other end, which is the West Campus, there is a tram that cuts across. It makes it really easy for students to get from one campus to the other, because sometimes when the student is, example, they have some science subjects, right, which are the common subject, it actually happens in the East Campus. And then when they are doing a subject that is more particular in the sense of, let's say if it's a very specific biomedical and health sciences subject, it can be in the West Campus. So having that tram is really easy for students to get across from end to end. It's free for everyone, the transportation within the city center. So those are some of the reasons that make Adelaide really student friendly. Yep. Ugandhi building, the third picture, that is very much for your business students. Business students enjoy a standalone, designated, dedicated uh, careers hub. So there are counselors in there that help to job match the students, because for business students it's very dynamic. At any point of time, they can actually always do internship, even though it's not even if they want to do more than what's required in their unit, they can always choose to do work placements, stick out for networking sessions. All these are done in the business hub itself. Yep. A lot of times we have guest speakers coming over to the business hub, and we have networking sessions also done over there. Okay. And the next one will be Mawson Lakes. So Mawson Lakes is about 17 minutes away from the city. And in Mawson Lakes is more for engineering, aviation, and the facilities there. If you can see the third picture, there's engineering facilities, things like construction specifically, or even chemical or mechanical engineering. A lot of the equipments are in Mawson Lakes. And so that's why students, when they, let's say example, if they're doing engineering towards year 3, they would start using more of the Mawson Lakes campus for their subjects. Yeah. There's also a cafe within the campus, and right behind the campus, there's also accommodation. If students prefer to stay nearer to Mawson Lakes, they can always choose the accommodation nearer to there. Yep. And you have McGill campus. So McGill campus looks really different and unique, and it's more for film and TV students. We have those audio rooms. We have a lot of, also for psychology students, sometimes there are sessions that are ongoing where students need to watch a live sort of session happening, then that's where they do their journaling. So they will also use McGill campus as for those kind of facilities. Education is also for students studying education, it's also done in McGill campus. Yep. The next one is more for food science, agriculture, these kind of programs. They will be using we have our own vineyards, we also have our farms, and there's also a plant accelerator uh, room, which is really cool because you get to study how do you how do you make food that is brought into space, meaning like what astronauts eat. Those are the things that we also research. Yep. And you have the Roseworthy campus. So Roseworthy campus is all about animals. If the student is studying veterinary medicine, this is predominantly where they will be having their classes. To learn about animals, you need to be closer to them. So that's why Roseworthy campus, it's probably the one that's a little bit further away, an hour's drive, but there are shuttle buses that go to and fro daily. Yeah, there's also accommodation that is right behind Roseworthy campus. So students can choose to stay there if they prefer that. Roseworthy campus also has a standalone veterinary hospital. This is open for public, and this is where our students get a lot of hands-on practice. They not just deal with wildlife, they also deal with commercial farm animals. There's an equine center there. And yeah, so a lot of different types of animals are being treated and taken care of in this space. Okay. And then in terms of facilities, of course, the university has a whole range of different facilities. The one that I will just pick a few to talk about. Like example, on the slide you see here, there's Exterus. So Exterus is very fascinating because it creates an out of earth kind of environment. You will see these students, what they're doing is they're trying to program the rover to move according to what they have preset. Yeah, so we have a partnership with the Andy Thomas Space Center, which a lot of times they will actually send their new creation or invention to the university and do the testing within the university. So it means that our professors actually have that first-hand sneak peek into all these new creations. Yep. We have a flight simulator. So it also means that we offer aviation program, whether the student wants to become a pilot or wants to work in aviation industry, making sure that planes are, safe, landing safely, airports are managed well. So there are two different routes for that also, aviation. And the cool part is that we are probably one of the few schools in Australia that offers two different plane models, both the Airbus and the Boeing. So students can actually get to see the insights of both these planes on Mawson Lake's campus itself. Yep. The next slide, more of the Adelaide Health Simulation. So we are well known for our medicine, dentistry, biomedical health sciences, pharmacy, pharmaceutical sciences, these kind of programs. And it's Adelaide Health Simulation is where the magic happens. We are using really high-tech mannequins, and these mannequins not just ooze out liquid, you are also able to control like the heartbeat. The mannequins themselves can also make different sounds, right? Like let's say if you press at the wrong parts, it will respond accordingly. So that helps students to get a much more lifelike, real experience when they are doing their learning. And we also do employ actors, paid actors, to become patients. Yeah. So the more the student is exposed to these kind of scenarios, the better they get at what they do. Yeah. So you also see physiotherapy and occupational therapy gyms across the Adelaide Health Simulation building. If you notice, right, the way the facilities are built is always mirroring how the actual workplace will be like. So example, our medicine students, when they are learning, they're actually learning in spaces that looks like an operation theater. Instead of just your usual lecture hall, it's a lot about being immersed within that environment that they are going to be working in the future. Yeah. So food innovation lab is where they can create different types of food. Very interesting things come out from there that then becomes commercial items. So students have that sort of that opportunity to collaborate with students from different study areas to be able to pitch. Example, if they are joining an Australian e-challenge, which is one of our unit, students from different field can actually come together and then pitch an idea. And if they do win that pitching round, they are going to get funding from the university to set up their own business. So these are the kind of opportunities that we provide for students. In terms of business students, the first picture there shows you the IRES trading room. So IRES is actually a software that is used by investment bankers or share market to monitor the share market. Our students are using this same platform. It means that the data they're getting, right, it's about 1 to 2 seconds difference from the actual share market data. So the students are given fake money to invest in different portfolios, and then at the end of that semester, they will see how well they have been investing. Yeah, it's also part of their program. And Business Student Hub, we have already covered that. Basically, it's a very cool space for students to exchange ideas, to meet industry people, and also to really map out where they are headed to in terms of whether they want to go into, like, a business student can go into many different fields, right? It could be into supply chain, it could be management, it could be into fintech. So this is the spaces where we hold a lot of career exhibitions and also networking sessions where anyone can join in. Yeah, we have architecture studio, very nice collaborative spaces for students to be able to come together and create something. And then you have the product design workshop rooms, again, spaces for across architecture students and creative arts students, and anyone actually, if the student is keen on creating something like a wine bottle packaging, that's where also they use these spaces to build their ideas. Yeah. Okay, so this picture here actually gives you a summary of the university itself. It talks about, in terms of subject rankings, where we stand. So some of the ones that we're really strong in is, example, engineering, mineral and mining, not surprising. And then you have dentistry, which is one of our signature programs also. So dentistry would take the students about 5 years to complete, whereas medicine is 6 years. Yeah. We have nursing, which is really strong because the Adelaide Health Simulation, AHMS building, Adelaide Health and Medical Science building, it is home to medicine students, dentistry, nursing, and cancer research. All those happen in that same building. So what it means is that students can actually experience that whole ecosystem. It is also placed right beside the Royal Adelaide Hospital. So it's a whole biomed person where knowledge exchange is very frequent, and there's lots of sort of sharing between the industry experts themselves with the students. Yep. You also can see education there, environmental sciences, one of our stronger ones, computer science and IT, and so on. So I'm just going to move on to the next one, which talks about using the Times Higher Education's ranking by subject. So the three main ones that we showcase here is education, medical and health, computer science. Yep. In terms of the programs, we have more than 400 over programs. So I would say the best way to navigate this is to actually use our website. So I'm going to stop share here, and then I'm going to share with you the website itself so that we can at least have let me just try to do this, and then let's look at the website. Okay, so Tim, can you see our website, adelaide.edu.au?
Yes, that I can
Yes.
see. Yes.
Okay, right. So it's really easy. It's adelaide.edu.au, and from here you can see study areas. So study areas makes it easy for you when you're doing consultation, because a student, for example, they might say, I really love maths, right? But what can I do with maths? So what you do is just go to mathematics and data science, and then from there you can see a whole um, range of the programs that has mathematics in there. So say, for example, a student who is keen in maths, what they can choose is, example, a Bachelor of Computer Science, AI and Machine Learning. These are different programs that have a lot of mathematics in them. The student could do a Bachelor of Cybersecurity, or Engineering, or IT, or even a Bachelor of Mathematics on its own. So let's say, for example, a student wants to study a Bachelor of Mathematics, right? And sometimes it's a little bit difficult for us to convince parents in terms of what jobs can they work in. So this page will be helpful in terms of showcasing the program, in tuition fees, what are the intakes available, and then where the campus is actually at, and the duration of study, what does the student require. So if you can see prerequisite, it means that the student must have mathematics background to apply for this program. Yeah. So Bachelor of Mathematics, this gives you the program overview. When you click on entry requirements, you can see very clearly in terms of like ATA. So for this program, the ATA score is 80. If the student is doing like your Australian matriculation or your SAYS, it will be 80 out of 100. If the student is doing IB, we'll then look at 28 out of 45. All right. And then if you scroll a little bit further down, for Malaysian students, we have so many different qualifications that we accept. So if it's using a local diploma, we are looking at matriculasi 3 out of 4.0. Yep, this is the minimum that we require. And then we also have UEC students. So UEC students, we are looking at the best 5 subject, excluding Bahasa and Mandarin. When you add them together, it shouldn't exceed 19 points. So with that, we also do have scholarships available, which I'll cover in the next few slides. And then you can also see for A levels, it will be 3 subjects. You add the 3 subjects, it has to be minimum 9 points. Yeah. So this page is also useful in terms of very quickly getting an idea of what are the the highlights of this program. Under key features, it gives you a summarized version of what the student can expect from this program. And then as you scroll down on the left-hand side, you're able to see from year one, year two, year three, what are the concepts that are being taught. Okay. And majors basically means your specializations. Each of these majors has its standalone page. So you can see that a student who wants to study a Bachelor of Mathematics and they want to specialize in data science, maybe you click on data science and it will open up a page. Tim, can you see the page that has data science on it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So the top portion will be all the same for the Bachelor of Mathematics. It's more of the career outcome. That's one. So career outcomes are customized to that specialization. It means that this student is looking at becoming either a data scientist, a big data researcher, data miner. Yep. And then when you look at the programs itself, click on major. This gives you a very clear picture in terms of for data science specializations, what are the kind of subjects that a student will be covering. Mm. So um, this this part here is quite useful because sometimes the students say, hey, I really like learning about computer science. Then they realize that so many of the subjects, right, are mathematics based and they hate maths. So probably they might want to consider a Bachelor of Information Technology instead. So this part is the one where it's good for students to have a look at the subjects that they'll be learning, and then at least they sort of know what is expected and whether it's a good fit for them. Yeah. It also has this work integrated learning. If you see our programs, every one of them will have a work integrated learning, meaning the student will have to bring their knowledge into the working space. There's internships. What we do is that our lecturers themselves will provide students a list of different industry partners that we work with, and they recognize our students' capabilities. So it's quite straightforward. Students just submit their resume, go for the interview, and then secure a job. If the student is struggling in that sense, the lecturer themselves will be able to provide extra guidance or maybe recommend probably a company that is more open to different skill set. Yeah. So that's where you can, yeah, you can get a better idea of what the program is all about. You can also see in terms of where it will lead them to. It gives you a bit of industry trends, not just in Australia, but globally. So that's what students can read and explore from here. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to my slides just very quickly.
Rachel, you're breaking up. We can't hear. We can't hear. We still can't hear. I think it's the connection issue with the microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now, Tim?
Ah, yes.
Okay, so I was talking about uh it's okay. So I was trying to say that you don't have to remember these colleges. We have six. We split it into six different colleges, but you don't have to remember this because what you're using is the website in terms of the study areas. Yeah, so the study areas are the one that will be more useful for your reference. All right. And to just give you a little bit of summary in terms of Adelaide City itself, we have 1.3 million population. It's a really cozy city. It means that when you're walking down the street, you will feel a lot of space. There are no traffic jams unless there's a special occasion like a Christmas parade. And yeah, and the weather there is fairly pleasant. If it's when it's during the winter, it's about 10 degrees, and during the summer, it's not too hot, about 35 to 37. Yep. We have also been ranked as the top 10 most livable cities in the world. So that's a good news for students. Um, it's about 10 to 13% more affordable compared to your bigger cities like Sydney and Melbourne. And another thing is that if the student is looking at working in Adelaide, we for postgraduate working visa, we are able to, students are able to get an extra year, yep, on top of whatever that they have gotten. So say, for example, if the postgraduate working visa allows them 2 years, if they are working in Adelaide, they get an additional year. So that's 3 years in total. Yep. Okay, so there's a direct flight from KL to Adelaide, just 7 hours. And if student is sort of looking for a change of scene after they graduate, they can still always choose to work in Sydney and Melbourne, like bigger cities. Melbourne will be about 1 hour flight away from Adelaide. Sydney will be 2 hours away. Yep. So the idea is that when you are studying, you want to find somewhere that is not too distracting, somewhere that has that really good community um, within the university and also within the local industry partners. And you also want something that's affordable. So Adelaide has that really nice balance. And students will realize that they start enjoying outdoor activities like walking or hiking or cycling, a lot of very beautiful spaces in Adelaide itself. Cost of living will be about 400 per week. That is including your accommodation, your food, your utilities, entertainment. And students are able to work part-time as long as the student can balance their academic studying well. They are encouraged to actually work in jobs that reflects what they're studying. So say, for example, a pharmacy student, they can always work as a probably like a promoter or cashier in a pharmacy space. Yeah, so they get to see the different names of the medication. They get to familiarize with how it's done, the working culture in Australia. Um, Minimum wage is 25 per hour, and during semesters, they are allowed to work up to 48 hours for every fourth night. During semester break, they can work unlimited hours. Okay. All right. So this is a map of Adelaide City. There is a beautiful Torrens River that runs across the city. And if you look towards the behind portion of the city, you can see hills. So those are Adelaide Hills, and it's very famous. We're very famous for our wine. 80% of the wine from the whole of Australia comes from Adelaide itself. So wine business is a big thing for us. That's one of the reasons why engineering students will also have a chance to look at our winery brewery machine, and business students do also study about distribution or wine business in general. Yep. And I will start off with the right-hand side. So when you look at the right-hand side, you will see the West Campus, and you will also see the Royal Adelaide Hospital. So this whole space is your biomed person. And then you have the Adelaide Oval at the bottom, which is famous for concerts, sports events, and a whole range of things. Yeah. Then when you move towards the center, you will see Central Market in Chinatown area. So most of the time, students are staying in nearby to this area in terms of accommodation. And if they are walking to the North Terrace campus, that would take them about 20 minutes. They can always also hop on the bus. Yep. If you go towards the bottom of Central Market in Chinatown, you can see Mawson Lakes is towards the bottom side, and then there's Roseworthy campus. And move a little bit more towards your left-hand side, you can see Rundle Mall. So that's your lifestyle and very happening business district area. And that's where our East Campus is also based. So what it means for students that in terms of doing their internships, they have a whole plethora of different businesses and companies for them to explore to really meet what they are trying to achieve. Yeah. So Wade Campus and McGill Campus. Okay. This shows you a top view from to look at the city itself. It's very well organized. And the blue and the red lines are actually your tram lines. So the tram runs through these two lines, and it's free of charge for everyone. You also do have the green buses that goes across the whole city. Yeah. So it's very easy for students, they won't get lost. So in terms of transport, public transport, most of the students would want to explore a little bit further out of the city during their free time. So they can actually purchase this Metro card. It's roughly about $59.60 per month, and they can travel unlimited everywhere across Adelaide. There are a lot of beautiful places in Adelaide that we encourage students to really get into that culture and immerse themselves. This bus here, it's called an O-Bahn. So it's a bus slash train. When it's on the road, it's a normal bus with the wheels. And when it hits the train tracks, it will then hide its wheels and become a train. So what this O-Bahn is used for is to actually quicken that journey, and it can cut up to 20 minutes of travel time. Yep, during peak hours. Okay, so we're talking about spaces outside of the city and also around the city. You have the Rundle Street, and if you notice the buildings, right, it's really beautiful, plastic buildings. And this is why architecture students actually enjoy being in this city, walking around, just really looking at these heritage buildings. Um, and it's a good mix. It's not just the heritage buildings, it also has that modern buildings for them to see, yeah, to see a different side of it. You have Port Lincoln. It's famous for shark cage diving, kayaking, surfing. You have Peel Street at the bottom, which is a lot of your foodies space. A lot of different cuisines are available there. You have Glenelg, which is our famous beach front. So we actually have a beach that are connected to each other. If you do a coastal hiking, right, just 2 hours will get you from one beach to another beach, and it's a coastal view. So it's really beautiful during sunset. You have the Central Market, recently voted as one of the best markets in the world. You have your Oval, Warm Adelaide Festival, which is in the Oval. Yeah, it's also known as the City of Festival. So Ed Sheeran performed, I think, about 2, 3 months ago at the Oval, and it's a yearly thing. So he's in Adelaide every year. Vineyards. So these spaces are sort of showing you what students can explore. We have hot air balloon, vineyards, Lay Street, yep, Botanic Gardens, which is 15 minutes walking distance from North Terrace. So these spaces are all where students can really go out there, join in clubs and societies. During orientation week, there's also all these options where students can go there, meet friends, build new friends. Yeah, this picture shows you more of Asia. It means that international students, right, they don't have to feel so homesick because there is a whole month of event that is celebrating the Southeast Asia culture. There are performances, food trucks, parades, and all that happening in the city. Yeah, this one is more of the Illuminate Adelaide. It's a little bit like your Vivid Sydney. And if you look at the picture with the snow globe, that is on our campus itself. Yep. Okay, Christmas, and basically more of what you can do in Adelaide. So the next one will talk more about accommodation. In terms of accommodation, there are options like residential colleges. These are your full board, meaning the student, it's a little bit more pricier, but the student gets that 5 meals a day. You have like um tuitions and everything happens within the colleges, but it's more for domestic students. And then we have our preferred partner providers, which is like Scape, Yugo, and they have different uh, locations and all in the heart of the city itself, but all very easy to access to the campuses. Yep. The one that we normally recommend students if it's their first time coming to Adelaide, or if they are studying programs like uh, health and medical sciences, your medicine, dentistry, biomedical, which is nearer to the West Campus, we normally recommend them to go for Adelaide Village. This is how it looks like. It's a university managed accommodation. And in that accommodation, there are student engagement, there's a student body, and the great part is the student intranet is also within Adelaide Village. So it means that students can work on their assignment, they click print, and they can collect their assignment in the campus itself. Yep, they can also access all the e-library, the journals, and the tools that students are given. Okay, so accommodation application is very straightforward. When the student has that accepted the offer, they have gotten their visas done, they will just submit their application on the portal, and then they select their preferred locations. Then from there, our admissions accommodations team will send out the offers for the different accommodation, and then the student would just choose the one they like and then make payment and then come in. Yep. So this one shows you the uh, people that are in charge of accommodation, just in case it's useful for students. The next segment will be more of admissions part, right? So we do have this Adelaide Be the First Welcome grant. It means that if the student has an offer and accepts the offer before 31st of May for semester 2 intake, they will be given these $2,000 to sort of offset their visa application. Yep, so it's Adelaide Be the First Welcome grant. And other than that, we do have a lot of scholarships for students. So what you see here is that we have two 50% scholarships. One is Launch Your Future, another one is Academic Excellence. The difference between them is that one is for ASEAN countries, the other one is across all international students. When a student is submitting their scholarship application, if you look at the high school criteria, that box, right, it shows you what is the minimum that the student needs to be eligible for these 50% scholarships. So if the student is taking A levels, they need 3 A stars. If they have 3 A stars, they can then apply for both Launch Your Future ASEAN Scholarship and also the Academic Excellence Scholarship. There are two different forms. I think Timothy will be able to share those forms with you guys if you ever need it. It's also available on the website. If the student is applying for two scholarships, they need to submit two different forms. Yep, just to take note on that. Other than the 50% scholarships, we also do have the 25% and the 15%. These are automatically given upon getting an offer. So say, for example, the student has 12 points in their A levels, they will automatically see a 25% scholarship given on their offer letter, and it's across the whole duration of their studies. So engineering students will then get 4 years across, your usual Bachelor of Arts will get 3 years and so on. The 15% will be 9 points. If the student is doing A levels and they have 9 points, they will automatically get 15% scholarship. Yep, we are pretty generous in terms of our scholarships. We are giving out 40 international students for the 50% scholarships. Each one of them. Each one of them has 40 students, and for 15 and 25% scholarships is unlimited. As long as the student meets the criteria, then they will be able to get the scholarship. Okay, so for transfer students, meaning students who has done their bachelor's in Malaysia, year one, year two, and coming to Adelaide to continue on their studies, we are looking at the university/college criteria box. Yeah, so you can see GPA 3.7 out of 4.0. That is the minimum GPA that's needed for the students to apply for the 50% scholarship. And if it's 25%, it's 3.3 out of 4. If it's 2.5 GPA, the student will then get 15% scholarship. All right. Okay, so there are some programs that are excluded from these scholarships. These are generally more of quota programs. Quota program meaning that there's only a limited amount of international students who can be sort of absorbed into this program. So things like your medicine, your dentistry, physiotherapy, unfortunately, these programs do not have scholarships. Okay. Right. So to just give a very sort of overview, a very quick picture, what can students apply for if they are using like a CGPA or UEC? So the lowest that we need is about 23 for UEC qualification and 2.67 for GPA. So these programs are agriculture sciences, arts, aviation, business, construction management, IT, music, and science. Whereas music science and social sciences. Whereas on the other end of it, for psychology honors program or even medicine dentistry, you can see that it's a little bit more a little bit more higher in terms of the requirements. Some of these programs also do have additional requirements. Like example, if the student is applying for medicine or dentistry, they will have to submit their UCAT ANZ registration ID, sit for the test, go for interview, and things like that. Or if the student is applying for veterinary medicine, there is a CASPER test. There is also a questionnaire about animal handling experience. Yep. Okay. Postgraduate. So if there are students who are studying, wanting to study masters, this is the overview in terms of their GPA. If they have a 2.5 GPA out of 4.0, usually it's a very straightforward process. They will be able to get their offers. If it's a if it's a PhD, like a research base, the student will then need to demonstrate that they have a research background and they do need to secure their supervisor before submitting the application. Yep. Okay. The next one is more of English language requirement. So if the student has done SPM and has that CEFR, we are able to use that to waive the English language requirement. Students from IB, A levels, obviously Australian matriculation, these are what the minimum required for us to waive the English language. Yep. And the time frame is also over here. Some of the universities in Malaysia, like example, Taylor, Sunway, help UCSI and all these, our partner universities, the student can use a MOI, a medium of instruction from that local university to waive off the English test also. Okay. And then the next one will be more of the different programs. So I'm just going to quickly stop here and ask whether, Timothy, if is there any specific requests
Yeah, I
for
think I
any
saw some
program?
questions as well in the group in the Q&A.
Questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing is that can an Australian UW Malaysia 2-year diploma of IT or computer science student can apply for your Bachelor of Computer Science IT or AI and then also apply for the 50% scholarship?
Yes, so the student can do that. What they need is at least based on the let me open up. I have to open up the website to give you a overview. But yes, student can apply for the 50% scholarship, and the 50% scholarship will need the student to have a 3.7, right? We saw just now
Yeah,
3.7
it's
out
all
of
3.7.
4.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
for
if the student is,
diploma of
yeah.
IT from like local colleges. Like it can be from UW Malaysia, can be from Taylor's or Sunway, example.
Mm. Yep. So if the student is aiming for the scholarship, then I would say 3.7 would be able to meet the entry requirement for our computer science program. Just need to make sure that there's a mathematics prerequisite met. All right.
Can they also apply for the 50% scholarship as well?
Yep. Yes, they can. Yes, they
Okay.
can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then the next one is applying into year two bachelor's degree. Yes, can. Yeah. So that question is answered. If the student is coming into year two bachelor's degree, yes, they can also apply for the 50% scholarship. And then the last question is it, I say, how long does it take for COE will be released? Okay, this one is, yeah, this one is the part that we try our best, okay? If and when you do have that situation where the student has already made payment, just let Timothy know, let Yes Education team know, and then they will help chase it up. We will prioritize that student. Mm.
So
So we
just to
don't,
be
yeah.
just a bit of a context also about
Mm.
the payment. Okay, there's a difference. I think there's something that I have to reminds agents is that there's a difference between making the payment and after the payment has been verified. Usually after the payment has been after students they make the payment, whether is they do an online or they go to the bank to do a telegraphic transfer, usually they do need around 3 to 4 working days for the payment to go through to reach out to Adelaide U. Once the payment have gone through, after the payment is verified, then usually it can take around 2 to 3 working days for Adelaide U to issue the COE. That's just based on previous cases that I've seen over the past previous 2 semesters.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think all good. No more
Um,
questions
okay,
for
not
now.
necessary for the CGPA 4 point. I mean, not to say not necessary, but the 50%, from what I know is that the students will need to submit the separate scholarship application, right, Rachel? For the
That's right. So
50%, yeah.
personal statement. Yes,
Personal
that's right. So
statement,
we
yeah,
also do
because
look
it's
at your
based on
personal
personal
statement.
statement, yeah. So based
Mm.
on personal statement, then also I think do you take also curriculum activities to consideration?
Yeah, so that is part of the personal statement is in 500 words. They will use their most outstanding points to
Mm,
sort of tell us what are their career aspirations, what are they planning to do with the program that they're studying, how are they going to give back to their community.
yeah. Thanks. So it really depends on the scholarship. There will be, let's say if the student has submitted application and they're also interested to apply, you can still let me know. I will direct you to how to get the scholarship form. It's very easy.
All good. I
All
just
right.
realized that we only have like about 10 minutes to cover
It's okay.
program.
It's okay. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Don't worry. No worries about it. No worries about it. As long as we give we help out with the question should be okay. Yeah.
Okay, all
Okay.
good.
Right.
Yeah. So should I continue
Yeah,
talking about the computer science, or do we want
yep, go
to
ahead, go ahead,
manage
go ahead.
questions?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to share my slides again, and then we'll go into more of the College of Engineering and IT. Uh, can we share? You can see my screen, I think. All good, computer science and
Yep,
IT.
all good, all good.
Okay, so the main questions that I usually get, right, is that what is the difference between these three? You have the Bachelor of Computer Science, you have the Bachelor of Cybersecurity, and you have the Bachelor of Information Technology. What are the main difference? Well, a simpler answer would be the computer science, right? AI and machine learning, it's about building the brain of the computer. So if the student is strong in mathematics and they have a pretty good marks, they can choose, they can opt for this. AI and machine learning has a lot of mathematics involved in that specialization. It's also one of our strength. When you Google Lot 14, right? Lot 14, which is right next to our campus building, it is a hub for startups, fintech companies, Cisco. It also is home to our AI/ML school. So AI/ML is Adelaide Institute of AI and Machine Learning. It's one of the largest in Australia, and we do handle data that are from the Australian government. So it means that in terms of cybersecurity or AI, we are pretty much in the forefront of it. If the student is very sure they want to go into cybersecurity, they can then choose a Bachelor of Cybersecurity, which gives them much more in-depth knowledge in cybersecurity specifically. And then you have the Bachelor of Information Technology. It's a lot more about like data analytics, or it has programming also, games development, these kind of aspects for cybersecurity and IT compared to computer science. Yep. And if you look at the postgraduate program, that is the Master of AI and Machine Learning. So by looking at these master's programs, right, that are offered, the student can sort of get a sneak peek into where are our strengths in terms of Adelaide University, and also where our industry partners are. Yeah. So yeah, so the website, when you click into the programs, you will be able to see a very detailed breakdown in terms of the subjects that the student will learn, and also in terms of where the career outcomes places them. Okay. And if we are looking at in terms of facilities, right, we have the MIT Big Data Living Lab. And I spoke about Lot 14. So Lot 14 is a good place to keep an eye on. When you are on the Lot 14 website, look at the directory, go into the tenants that are within this Lot 14. You realize that quite a lot of fintech companies, there's also like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Cisco, banks, they are all within this Lot 14, and these are the places that our students do internships in. Yep. You also have the computer science. So these slides, I think Tim will share. I'm not sure whether Tim will be sharing it with them, but these slides will be available if you do need them. At least you can use this to
Yes,
help
I'll
you
share
out.
them.
Yeah.
I'll share them in the group chats.
Okay, so we have the AI and machine learning. This gives you a breakdown in terms of specialization. What is the difference between AI versus human-centered computing versus programming languages? Yep. Bachelor of Cybersecurity, you can also see it covers like cyber law, policy. Students get to learn how hackers think. Yeah, it's a very cool program. And then you have IT, which covers a lot like networking, cybersecurity, games development, software development, and then data analytics area of it. Okay, so that's the master's part. Okay, and then the next one will be more of engineering. I'll go really quickly because engineering, it's your usual civil, chemical, electrical, environmental, and mechanical. What is different for us? We have aerospace engineering and space engineering. So two different things. One is about building the rockets itself. Another one is about the outside of the rockets, like your satellites, your hubs, your drones, your rovers. Yep. So very cool stuff happens in the university in terms of engineering program. These are some of the facilities that engineering students enjoy and use. Okay. We have the innovation studios, fabrication studio. We also have a really huge 3D printer. We call it Big Ben. It can print as big as the size of a meeting room. So that's how huge the kind of structures that the students are building. Okay, these are some of the engineering facilities. You have a brewery lab. So that's where students can actually create their own wine flavors, um, see how different change of temperature or soil affects the taste of the wine. This is for biomedical engineering. And then you have your flight simulators, you have your chamber. This is where it can either quieten down, absorb sounds, or it can amplify sounds. Yep. So yeah, so those are for engineering program. I'm gonna just cover, let me just try time. Do I have a little bit more time, team, just to cover health? I think that's 5 minutes.
Yep, sure, no problem. No
So
problem, no
yeah.
problem. Don't
So
worry about
I'm gonna very quickly try to cover College of Health. Under the College of Health, there are these study areas. So allied health is like your physio, OT, speech pathology, exercise and sports science, these kind of areas. And then you have your health and biomedical sciences, which is a lot more to do with lab work, research, clinical trials, this kind of area. And then you have nursing, midwifery, medicine, dentistry, oral health, nutrition, and food science. Okay, so going into medicine and dentistry program, medicine program, it's an integrated program, meaning when the student applies, they are applying for the 6 year program. It starts out with a Bachelor of Medical Studies and then goes, once the student has completed all their units under the bachelor, they will go into Doctor of Medicine uh, to continue the whole program. And then for dentistry, it will be the Bachelor of Dental Surgery, 5 years in total. Bachelor of Oral Health will be 3 years. Not as big in Malaysia, but very popular in Australia. Okay, so this is the AHMS building that I was talking about. These are just some stats. Saigenki is actually a very famous cancer research facility. So it's used around the world. Okay. And then this one talks about your medicine program. If you ever need more details, I think the website is very clear in terms of the admissions guide. There is the UCAT ANZ test. There is the link for the registration page, the key dates. There is also a interview round. So when the student has done their UCAT, the top 160 highest scores for international applicants will be selected for an interview round. Once the interviews are all done, 30 students from there will be given an offer. Okay. And these are just some of the health simulation facilities that the students are using when they are learning. You have your pictures over here. It's more to just showcase that it's very hands-on learning. Yeah. And then you have paid actors who carry out the different scenarios for the students to understand how to move patients to a safe place. Yeah, placements for medicine students. And then you have dentistry. So dentistry is similar. If they're applying for medicine or dentistry, the process is similar. They will need A levels at least 12 points. And then there will be the UCAT ANZ and then the interview round. Yep. Okay, these are the dental simulation clinics. Every student will have a head with the mouthpiece for themselves to really do hands-on learning. Our school actually teach pediatrics dentistry, meaning taking care of children's like really because children has very small mouth, right? And it's very difficult to actually look at each one of the tooth and also the gums. So if you can manage children's teeth, you are pretty much more skilled in terms of being a dentist. So that's one of the program that we teach. And the dentistry students, they will already start doing their hands-on placement very early on in first year itself. So there's community outreach program where the students voluntarily look at the public's different people's teeth and complex gums issues or teeth issues, and that's how they very quickly pick up these skills needed and get that sort of like different edge, yeah, in terms of dentistry program. This is showing you the steps and then the calendar. Yep. And then we go into allied health. So allied health programs, the ones listed here, you have your usual physiotherapy, OT, speech pathology, podiatry for feet. and then clinical exercise physiology. So this is the one that I'm quite excited about, clinical exercise physiology, because they deal with athletes. We have this athletes center hub because the students in our school, there are Olympians within them. There's like swimmers, rowing team and all that. The students actually study how to optimize the athletes' body physique into and versus performance. And they also talk about like their food intake, how do they minimize the recovery time needed once they have already competed and things like that. So it's up and coming clinical exercise physiology, something to consider if the student is like looking at exercise and sports science, they want that another level up, it will be the clinical exercise physiology. Yep. We also have the master's programs available. And then these are the spaces in terms of the facilities for allied health. You can see that it's really mimicking a physiotherapy clinics. Okay, so you have the different breakdown of them uh, over here. And then I'll go into the last one that I'll cover is the biomedical and health sciences. So this is my favorite program because it's also one of our signature program in terms of biomedical and health sciences. There are many different majors, right? The student can choose either biochem or clinical trials, genetics, medical science, microbiology, immunology, neuroscience, public health, reproductive and childhood health. So there's a lot for students to choose from. And the students can actually take two different majors, means they can actually choose like they want immunology, at the same time pair it with probably genetics, something like that. Yep. And these students will be working with uh, researchers who are well known in their field, and they also get to be part of up and coming new drug discovery and things that are going to be launched in the market itself. So Bachelor of Pharmacy honors program. This one is where we do have training with local universities. So if the student is doing like, say for example, pharmacy in Taylor's University, 2 years in Taylor's, they can continue year 3 and year 4 in Adelaide University. We do have those articulations coming up. And other than that, there's pharmaceutical science, there is the lab medicine. This one is a very competitive program. So I would say student has to be really strong in terms of academic, and they have also need to apply early, yeah, for this program. Master of Public Health, Master of Pharmacy, and yeah, nursing midwifery area. So Tim, I think pretty much this ones that we can cover for today, or if you want me to continue, I also can stay on to answer questions.
Yeah, I think we can still continue.
You can still continue. Okay,
Yeah,
all
should be
good.
fine. Yeah.
So nursing and midwifery, Bachelor of Nursing and Bachelor of Midwifery, and then you have the master's program also. So nursing, they use a picture of a male nurse. I find that interesting because I think in Australia it's pretty much very equal in terms of like the male-female student split in the Bachelor of Nursing. And these students will have to complete 1,000 placement hours. The great thing is that the school it's very closely linked with the Royal Adelaide Hospital. So students get to see patients, get to see and also manage patients in an actual real world setting. Yep. We also use, surprisingly, even though medicine is a very traditional industry, we use a lot of technology to help students get better at what they do. So example, there are things like using augmented reality or VR or even uh, understanding data. Say, for example, using method 1 versus method 2, which is more effective in terms of helping the patient recover. So these are the ways that we make sure that the students are familiar with not just the equipments that they are using, they are also familiar in terms of using technology in their day-to-day. Yep. Bachelor of Midwifery, this one is where students are looking to participate in birth. Yeah, 30, the student has to actively participate in 30 births, and then it follows the journey of the mother from pregnancy, birth, and postnatal care. Yep, there's going to be clinical placements also within these programs. And then you have the Master of Nursing graduate entry. This one is a quota program, meaning there are limited amount of international students that are allowed to we are allowed to take in graduate entry. 800 hours of workplace experience. So if the student is not from that background and it's looking to come into the nursing space, they can opt for these kind of programs. Yeah. Okay, nutrition and food science is also very trendy right now. I do get quite a number of students asking me about food science and technology or even human nutrition. So these are the programs that we offer. And if we look at human nutrition itself, the setting, the classroom setting, it's a very fun kitchen space. And the students will get to work with our top what do you call that? There is a specific company in Adelaide which is very famous for producing different food, nutritious food, organic, and you know Australia, how Australia has a lot of different category of food type like gluten-free. It goes very, very specific. So this is where the student will get to learn those kind of information. They also get to really map out a diet plan for not just you and me, but also for athletes, for different kind of uh, people, right? Different categories of people. Okay, so that's done. Quite a lot more for me to cover, but I will just go on until Tim stops me. The next one will be College of Business and Law. And under this ones, we talked about IRES Trading Room. The one that I haven't talked about is the Think Lab. So the Think Lab is a startup incubator where I mentioned that students can join this Australian e-challenge, right? The students who win this Australian e-challenge will be then given a desk space in Think Lab. That's where they get mentorship from industry people. They get support in terms of like accounting softwares. They get all these helping hand from industry people to bring their company to the next level. So Think Lab is where we encourage entrepreneurial innovative mindset, and it's really open to any students to collaborate. This is also where our industry partner always hit hunt students. Yep. Okay, so if we look at the business programs, we have two ways of separating them. If the student is doing things that are more like accounting, finance, investment, and banking, those kind of area, that is called the Bachelor of Commerce. If the student is more of like marketing, management, supply chain, this kind of area, it's more of the Bachelor of Business. Yeah, so two different parts of it. And then when we are looking at this slide, it shows you the Bachelor of Commerce, the different majors. You have accounting, banking and finance, business analytics, financial planning, and property. Yep. And that's for economics. Bachelor of Economics is always a standalone, so it's 3 years in total. And the student can choose to major in advanced analysis. Basically, when the student major in something like advanced analysis, right, and you look at the subjects that they are taking, it's pretty much already arranged in a sense that these units come in that set. And then when the student has completed that, they will be able to have the skill set needed for these certain roles. Yeah. Then you have the Bachelor of Commerce. So this is talking about in detail for each one of these programs. Postgrad accounting postgrad degrees. So for this one, if the student has accounting background, they are going for the Master of Professional Accounting. So that is slightly shorter duration, 1.5 year, compared to a student who is not from the accounting background. They actually go for Master of Accounting. So more for people who have been probably working and they want to have that skill set in accounting specifically, they can go for this Master of Accounting. Yep. And that will be 2 years. So it means that they are also eligible to apply for postgraduate working visa once they have graduated. Finance postgrad degrees. Okay. And then Master of Economics and Resource Policy. So usually these students that look for these programs are more government-based students, and they have like specialized courses in economic analysis, global food and agriculture business, trade, public economics policy. Yep. Okay, so business, Bachelor of Business. Bachelor of Business has really a lot different majors. The student can they can choose two majors from these areas, or they can choose to be a generalist, means they just take a Bachelor of Business without having any particular major within that program. It's also fine. So they can handpick the subjects that they want, right? Something that I am quite excited to share, it's more of uh, the marketing major. So I'm going to stop share and then I'm going to go into uh, my website. Can you see EBI, Tim? Ahern-Based Institute?
Yep, can see, can
As
see.
an owl. Okay, so this gentleman here, his name is Byron Sharp. He is our lead lecturer for the business school. He is also the person who wrote the book How Brands Market or How Brands Think. I forgot the name of the title of the book title, but this book is being used in business schools across the world. So he is also the director for Ahern-Based Institute, which is marketing science, is a consultation company for all these different brands like LinkedIn, PepsiCo, Lindt, ANZ, Bank, Colgate, Palmolive, all these different brands. Yeah, so it's very exciting for students when they are being taught by Byron, or even when they are working with any of the lecturers from the marketing school. It's marketing as a science. And these are also the brands that our students, our graduates go into to continue on their career. Yeah. Other than that, since we are on this page, I also wanted to just showcase Lot 14 to give you a little bit of difference, because the slides itself, it's a bit dry. I wanted to show you a little bit something moving, something different. When you are on the lot14.com.au website, look for the tenants. This is where you can see, like, say, for example, if the student is interested in computer science, these are the kind of companies that they are going to be doing their internships in. Yeah. So there's a whole range of them. And you can see our school is also in there, the Australian Institute for Machine Learning, Cyber Collaboration Center, Cisco. Yep, a lot more within this range over here. These are all very cool companies to look at, and also to join in as a management trainee or as an intern if you are looking at space specific. So these are the Andy Thomas Space Foundation, the Space Agency, and we work with all of them. Yeah, so students do have a lot of opportunities available for them, as long as they are willing to put themselves out there, ask for support. They will be able to get that connection with these company representatives, because these company representatives also work quite closely with our lecturers. They have networking sessions quite frequent. Yep. Okay. And another page that will probably be helpful. So Study Adelaide is where international students can uh, get a lot of free resources, meaning, like, example, even if they wanted to prepare themselves for the internship, how do you do your resume? How do you prepare for your interviews? What kind of questions will be asked? They are able to use Study Adelaide's website and also the student ambassadors as their support system. Yeah, so there's also a calculator here. There is a cost of living calculator here to help students pretty much know what to expect before they come over to Adelaide. And then programs that I just learned about today. So this is quite exciting for me also, because our film and TV School of Creative, and then we have this Rising Sun Pictures, which is home to all these different movies, including Michael Jackson movie that was just released. So let me click on that. And then you can see, like, all the upcoming movies, like Avengers. These are done by Rising Sun Production, and it's a Adelaide-born company. So it's exciting because students that are learning about illustration or film production, screen production, screenwriting, and also your immersive media as a major. These are the kind of level that you have, that we are offering students. These are the kind of these are where graduates actually go into. So Apex, and then you have the a lot of really cool films, right? And including Wicked. So Michael Jackson that was just released was also part of the Rising Sun pictures. And then you have the Wicked. You are able to see the behind the scenes. How was the RSP involved for this project? What was included in it? What does these are also the projects that students get to be part of. Yeah, so that's really cool stuff for our students. And yeah, and I stopped at, yeah, I'm gonna just stop here and see whether there's any questions from the floor.
There's one question here. Students who wish to continue for master's
Okay,
degree,
all
is it a must
good.
to get
Yep.
a bachelor honors year first?
Hello, sorry, Tim. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Sorry, I think I
couldn't
saw the
really
question.
hear you.
I think my internet got some issue. Can you see?
Sorry, I think my line was breaking. You were saying that a student who wants to study masters, do they need the bachelor's honors first? Hello?
Yeah,
Am I still
yeah, you're
am I
still
still
there.
in the webinar?
Yeah, you're still here. Yeah, you're
Testing,
still here.
testing.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, all good.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw the question. So, if the student is doing a master's and it's research, right? If it's a master in research, they do need to showcase that they have that research background. But if it's a master in coursework, then it's not necessary that the bachelor's must be honest. Only if it's a, like, example, student wants to study Master of Clinical Psychology, then definitely the Bachelor of Psychology program must have an honors component.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I think any other questions, everyone? I think we'll have time for one more. Thank you so much, Rachel. I think if we can
Thank
officially,
you.
yeah.
Thank you
But
for your time. I appreciate
one
it.
more question. I'm quite curious. You say can UEC students actually waive English requirements, by the way? Rachel, can you hear me?
Sorry, Tim. I couldn't hear the question, but I'm guessing that you're asking about. Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah. Can UEC students waive the English requirement?
It's if they have a SPM CEFR English that is at least B, they are able to use that to waive their English requirement.
Or CEFR at a B2, is it? CEFR.
Yes, that's right. CEFR SPM English.
Okay, sure. Okay, everyone, no issue. All right, thank you.
All
Thank you
good.
so much. All good. Thank you so much, everyone. If you
All
have any
right.
questions,
Thank you so
I've
much.
already shared the presentation
Everyone
slides
have a good
already.
evening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So sorry for the internet issue. Thank you so much, everyone.